It says we are on the air. We are on live. Hello, everybody. I see Robin and
Woo!
Tara and Kathy. Hi, Kathy. Yay. And Tara, I'm glad you had your
Which
tea.
it on my end, okay, there we go. Now it says live. And now
Okay.
YouTube, it says live stream is starting soon.
Yeah, there should be a delay.
Like delay.
Yeah, because I actually set it so that the setup would be less buffering for people watching.
Okay, here we go. Now it's starting to go live.
Yay.
Turn off my YouTube sound because that's
Yes.
always a pain. But
Yes.
hey, here we are.
Yay.
Woo!
Hello. Thank you all for being so incredibly patient the last 2 weeks, but especially the last time, the crafty chat that would not die even though it kept trying. That was super frustrating. And actually, it wasn't operator error. I really thought it had to be, but it wasn't. And I wound up sending in a ticket to YouTube, and they've been writing back and forth with me saying, okay, the engineers are still
Nice.
working on it. Yeah, because something really did go wrong. Normally, we get a link that's like a private link that I'm the only one who can access it at first. And then I share that out with Dawn and Erica. And every time I shared it out with Dawn and Erica, they went to a different Hangout, or they went to a page that said, this page is invalid. And that's not right. So I like Tara's comment, right? Because how cool is that? It's almost like I work out.
For those listening at home, Heather's wearing a tank top so we can all see her awesome biceps.
That's right. It's all
and I'm sure that's why. It's not because it's 11 billion degrees and 94% humidity where you are. It's because you want to show off your body.
Absolutely. In fact, honest to God, if I could have done this without any clothes on at all, I would have. It is so disgusting here. And I know you can see the fan is rippling. I had to put a sheer curtain up in between me and the air because it was too loud without a curtain at all. And I had to put up a sheer because I needed some air. It's so hot and humid. And it's that waiting for a storm thing. So it's a big storm that we're supposed to get. Although,
well, I can't hear the fan, but then again, I'm deaf, so
that's okay. My son told me that this microphone actually does a pretty good job of blocking out a lot of the stupid. So I am hopeful that continues to work well. So we don't know where Dawn is. I haven't been able to get a hold of her today, but it's summer and everything is just weird. So
yes,
I have my stuff. Erica, did you have stuff? I know you and Dawn had stuff ready to go, and
I stuff because of missing last bits. So first of all, for those who are watching on YouTube, I changed my setup. I hope this is better. It looks great on the Google Hangout, not as good on YouTube, but it looks better, I think, than it did before. So hopefully this will help. And hopefully my sound is okay. I'm not using a schmancy microphone. I'm just using the iPad. So
it actually doesn't sound bad.
Oh, cool. So I have a few some things. First is I finished the pie shawl, the very simple garter stitch pie shawl.
Oh, I like that. So for the people at home, we've got burgundy, a very clearly burgundy, kind of a wine colored edge, and then variegated colors going up. So which yarn was the rim and which yarn was the inner?
Well, it's all one. It's one skein of fresh from the cauldron superwash gradient in the color exsanguinate.
So that's the exsanguinate. Holy cow, that is amazing. That's a huge color change.
Yeah, it's awesome. I love it. And I did it on size 7s. I usually knit fingering weight on a size 6 for shawls, but I tried it on a size 7 to see how I liked it, and I really liked it. So
it looks very open. And
do some other stuff in size 7s. So there's that finished object. And just kind of out of the blue, and I wanted to start something. I didn't know what to start. So I started a random baby sweater.
Ooh.
And the pattern is called Scrappy Socky Stripy Cardi by Fawn P. And
oh, that's a beautiful yellow.
it is in My First Regia, which comes in these adorable little half-size balls.
Oh.
These adorable little balls. And so I used one skein of this bright stripedy,
That's
and
beautiful.
most of a skein of the yellow. And the stripedy is orange and yellow and blue and purple. And then I'm using another skein of the rest of the body. I think I'm not going to put sleeves on it. I think I'm going to just leave it with the little cap sleeves. But the cool thing is I started this, and like 2 days later found out a friend of mine was unexpectedly pregnant.
That's what I was going to ask.
Like, well, I started the baby sweater. I started it for Layla.
You were psychic.
So yeah, and I'm going to get applause from the other side of the room for this. I actually made some progress on the stupid blanket that I'm supposed to be making. Now that may not look like much, but that is actual definite progress on the blanket.
That is.
I'm getting glares from across the room from my kid, but I should be getting applause that I actually made myself work on it. But I think maybe she's going to give me a slow clap instead. Yeah, there goes the slow clap. The pattern on that, I didn't really hold it so you could see it. It's solid white, but it's textured there. Now you can see.
Wow.
It's textured, and the pattern is called Comfort Me by Ann Hansen. It's on US 10s, and it's Barocco vintage. So it's a blend. It's superwash. So that is that. Oh, and I forgot to say that the baby sweater is on size 2s, 2.75 millimeter.
And is the baby yarn superwash as well?
Oh yes. Oh yes.
Excellent.
Yeah, you can make. They're adorable little skeins for making baby socks or baby clothes, or I've made regular socks, like 2 skeins of a stripedy with a little bit of a coordinating solid for the heels and toes.
Right.
It comes out great. And they're great colors. And then, so that's my knitting.
That's cool.
And I got to figure out how to do screen share. For Father's Day, since Andrew spent time taking Sarah up to her awesome new job up in the mountains, Father's Day wasn't normal, but he got home around dinner time, and I asked him, it's your day. What do you want? You want to go out? You want to order pizza? You want me to make something? And he said he wanted something, quote, with bacon and tater tots. And so I found this, it's like a classic man food recipe that it was called cheesy bacon tater tot pie.
Oh my God.
And pie is kind of a misnomer, but I did a double batch with, 2 pounds of tater tots and more bacon than it said to use. And it's decadent when it's got cheese, mayonnaise, sour cream, bacon, and the secret ingredient in the sauce that goes on top, sriracha. So it was quite a hit. Andrew and Abby, just between the two of them, ate 2/3 of a 9x13 pan of it. So I think that means it was good.
Yeah, I'd say that's a score.
So I will post I'll give the link for that, because it was easy. It's total man food or teenager food, friendly. So that was my cooking. And we had talked about other books. I did finish American Gods, and then by Neil Gaiman, and then I read this one that goes with it, Anansi Boys,
yay,
which I need to take back to the library. I remembered about this cool thing my city has called a library, where I don't have to.
When did you go to?
I don't have to buy every book I want to read. And actually, I love being able to go online and put a hold on it, and then I only go to the library when it's ready and waiting for me.
Yeah, that's really nice.
So I loved that, and now I'm reading Stardust.
Wow, you're just going through the Pantheon.
But yes, I am. So that's cool. And my last crafty thing, I'm just blazing through this stuff today, is Tour de Fleece. Tour de Fleece starts on the 2nd, which is this Saturday, and goes through the 24th. And for those who have not heard of it, Tour de Fleece is modeled after the Tour de France bike race. And so it lasts many days with a few rest days. And you make spinning goals for yourself, and you spin every day that the bikers bike, you bike, and then when they rest, you rest, and you have goals that you want to accomplish for it. And we here at CraftLit are too nutsy busy to have our own team, so we are participating in Team Sasquatch. So on Ravelry, go join the Team Sasquatch group, and which is a multi-podcast group.
That's started by the Knitmore girls.
The Knit girls. I'm sorry.
They started it years ago, because I've been on Team Sasquatch for the Knit Olympics or Ravel Olympics.
Right, for everything. Yeah.
The Ravelinic games for years.
So it's Coggy from High Fiber Diet, the Knitmore girls, just a bajillion different people. So come join us. Come join us. Crooked Knit says she's co-captaining a Tour de Fleece team for her spinning guild this year.
Ah.
Yay. Yes, and Megan from Stitch It. All different. 8 million different podcasters.
I didn't realize it was gone.
A very exact term, 8 million. So my goal at this point is I'm keeping my goal very modest, is that I'm going to apply that 8 ounces of Be Myself singles that I had spun on the spindle, and I'm going to apply it on the spindle because I spun it on the spindle. So that's my very modest goal, achievable. What do they call them? Real goals? Realistic?
Oh, SMART goals.
SMART goals.
Yep, it's an acronym for something. SMART.
Something measurable, attainable, realistic, and I think time bound. I forget what the S is. My husband could tell me. But...
Solipsistic. No?
No, I don't think so. Maybe more likely sustainable.
Saccharine.
Stupid.
See, this is the problem with those things, is that I would be the kid in the back of the class who was saying that under my breath.
Yes.
And it's very hard to read educational curricular materials where it's been written in such a way that the smart mouth kid in the back is gonna be smart mouthing, whether it's a kid or a teacher, because you get that from teachers too.
Yeah, there's always somebody who's gonna do it.
Yeah, and it was often. But I think that that's one of the things, a thing that saved me as a teacher is not just teaching to the joke, but and I said this to the kids, that my goal was to always get to the joke first. Because if I controlled the humor, if I controlled the laughter in the classroom, then I controlled the classroom. But the minute somebody else started cracking wise, I was sunk, because you can't get that back. So
Right.
if I heard somebody say something that was a double entendre, I had to get to it fast, so that even if I
Right.
said it with another kid, it was okay. It was still safe. But that's
Right.
improv
It had to be
training.
you making the joke and not them making the joke.
Right.
Um,
Right. And it saved my butt in New York. I mean,
I'll bet.
that's what started us off on the right foot.
Oh,
Oh, and I just came back from New York. But I don't
yes.
want to
So
go
now,
there until
good
you're.
segue. That's a good segue. It's now your turn.
Are you done?
I think so. I'll probably think of something else along the way. I don't know if the people in the chat room want the update on the kid. The last time we recorded, while we were recording, we found out that my oldest got this amazing job, and now she's been up there for a week. She's 4.5 or 5 hours away from home,
Wow.
staying with my husband's aunt. She has a little motel, little 4-room motel, and my kid and another cousin are staying in the main building of the motel, rent-free, doing chores at the motel and working 3 doors down at the country store. And my kid, who has never had a job before in her life, is working 8 hours a day, 5 days a week.
Best lesson you could have.
Pretty cool. And being responsible for her own groceries and cooking and laundry and all of that. So she may come home with some pink socks and some shrunken things, but it will be a great learning experience.
As
and
long
meanwhile,
as they're
the young
not hand knit
kid,
socks that are shrunken.
no, I don't knit her socks. And then meanwhile, my kid is getting to experience sort of being an only child, and it's very different. The subtraction of one person from the household makes a very big difference in the volume level in the house. And I'm seeing a little grin across the room. All right, now it's a big grin. And the volume level, and it definitely makes a difference in what's on the television and whether the television is even on or not. So all those things, and they don't think they'll miss each other, but I know they're going to. So
yeah, there's that initial stage of oh, and then there's the
right.
and
we are planning to go up and visit. She'll be there until September, till 2/3 of the way through September.
Wow.
And we're planning to go visit the first week in August. And
Good.
her reaction when I told her what days we would probably plan on going, she asked if we could cut that to fewer days, which cracked me up. But sorry, Heather, don't spit your water out on the microphone. But I reminded her that one of those days would be taken up with driving up there, and another would be taken up with driving back home. And that, we're not going to stop her from working. She will still, be working her days. And I'm just dying to get a picture of her scooping ice cream and making pizzas and waiting on people. And
yeah,
my brain is snapping. So
is she making money, or is she just getting room and board?
Oh no, she's making money. I'm not sure how much, but I know it's at least minimum wage, and minimum wage is currently $10 an hour. So she'll get a rude awakening when she sees how much is taken out in taxes. But she should be able to save up quite a bit this summer. And we're giving her a small grocery allowance. But she hasn't. I sent her. I'm such a mom. I sent her up with so much stuff that she hasn't had to buy anything yet. I got her a lot of non-perishables.
Right.
The
stuff that
easy
actually
stuff.
costs money.
The microwave mac and cheese, microwave popcorn, couple of boxes of cereal, just different stuff, some pasta and pasta sauce.
But she doesn't have to pay rent or anything. She's staying.
No, her rent is helping out around the motel, tiny little 4-room motel, and she's learning how to iron sheets on this big special machine for ironing sheets.
Wow.
And things like that. So yeah, she's getting a lot of great experience.
That's awesome.
And gets to make use of his aunt's hot tub and being in the wilderness. And so yeah.
Way to go.
It's pretty awesome all the way around. So
yeah. Yeah. And I think anytime you have a kid who had a hard time getting out of high school, especially towards the end, I think getting a job has been a lifesaver in more than one situation. A sheet press, that's what it is. Yes, I want one too.
Yeah.
Tara was saying she wants one.
Yeah, I've seen it. It looks like it's old. So who knows if they they must still make them, I guess, because hotels must use them.
I suppose so. Well, nicer hotels do.
Yeah. So,
which segue again.
Yeah.
We stayed in a nice hotel in New York because.
Tell us about your hotel.
Oh, Andrew was up. He was up there for a conference, and so we just kind of piled into his room, and it was at 57th and Lexington, so right in between 2 train stops on 57th, just below the park, and it made everything so easy. And I hadn't realized the last time I tried to navigate New York City on my own with children, they were like 6 and 2. It was ridiculous. And so I had kind of this horrible
I thought you went, didn't you go?
Yeah, we have.
You went one time recently when Shannon Oki was also in New York.
I went by myself, and Andrew brought the boys up. And then we've come up for Thing Two's birthday. But that's all of us together, and I haven't had to do it all on my own. And I had nothing but boys for the whole 3. We were there Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then we left kind of mid-morning on Friday. And it was just me and the boys, and I had the best time. I have some pictures which I'll put on the show notes that we took fun pictures. We took our time. We didn't rush. It was June. It was beautiful, and it was warm, but it wasn't too humid. Not like today, but we had a great time. We went to the Museum of Natural History. We got to see that's Too Bigosaurus, which can't fit into one room. I have a picture of its head poking out into the hallway.
Seriously?
It is.
That's
it is. We'd seen this when they first opened it. It's actually called the Titanosaur. It's new. They only recently found it. And it's a big deal. Ha, no pun intended. No, but the thing is so enormous that Thing 2 read on a plaque. First off, that's new, but he read on a plaque that the thing wouldn't have been able to be displayed if it were actually the original bones. So it's not. It's 3D printed bones.
Oh my goodness.
The entire gazillion bone skeleton is all 3D printed because that was the only way that they could get it to not break the floor in the Natural History Museum.
Holy cow.
It's that big.
3D printing breaks my brain. I just don't understand it. I've watched videos of it.
I can tell you how to think of it.
It breaks my brain.
Nope, it won't. I watched it done, and it is this. It's picture yarn. I don't have any handy that's coiled. but it is just layer on layer on layer. It's printing. It's not actually printing in a spiral, but for our purposes, if you think of it as one stream of plastic that gets laid down, it's just got an arm that's moving back and forth, laying it down on the outside of the stuff. In fact, I have something that Aaron, I have something that he made, that he designed and then printed, which I will go get in a moment. It's fabulous. And our local library now has a 3D printer and the software.
Oh, wow.
So speaking of libraries, check with your libraries, because this sounds like it's a thing that's starting to percolate, because it's getting kids to think spatially in a way that they haven't been able to very easily before. You would have had to take wood shop or something like that. And it's really, really, exactly, Tara, like the coiled clay pots from our class. Except, like I said, it's not really doing it in a spiral. It's more like doing it in a sheet. But the reason I'm saying to think of it like the spiral is because it's empty on the inside. So it's going to be lighter
Right.
weight if they do the bones. Exactly. And
Yeah.
and the Titanosaur thing is, it is so big. And then we found out it was a teenager. It wasn't full grown, as big as it is.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So that was a lot of fun, seeing the park. And they were so shocked at how huge Central Park was, and said, you can't hear the cars, you can't hear the traffic. And how did this place not get subdivided and sold off? How did New York decide to keep this park? And that's one of the things that makes New York kind of a strange place. It's not like anywhere else, and it's not like anywhere else. But we did that. We saw the Daily Show get taped, which was like watching a well-oiled machine. They come in, they do this, they do that, they do the other thing. You clap, you cheer, they do the next thing, and then it's done. But the cool part was that in between all of that, I don't know if you've seen, if anybody has seen this, I don't know if you've seen this, Erica, the Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee that Jerry Seinfeld is doing.
I have not. I've seen James Corden's carpool karaoke, but I have not seen the Jerry Seinfeld thing.
I love the carpool karaoke too.
Yeah.
The Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee is Jerry Seinfeld just having conversations with comedians who he's, most of whom he's known for 40 years. And he booked Trevor Noah before Trevor Noah got The Daily Show. And that moment, you're like 2/3 of the way through the conversation with Trevor Noah when Seinfeld says, oh, and by the way, he breaks in and says, I just want everybody to know that we booked this long before he got the Daily Show gig. And I thought, okay, well, now I'm interested, because what was it about this kid that made him so good that Seinfeld wanted him on his
Right.
Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee? And his father's white, his mother is black, and she had to pretend to be the help anytime someone came to the door.
Oh my goodness.
So I mean, just putting that into,
If he's young, that couldn't have been very long
young.
ago. How
well, it was during apartheid. I don't think he's not a teenager. He's not in his early 20s. He's been doing this for a while. But he is, and this is the thing that I loved about him, he is a teacher. So there was a whole discussion about Congress not doing anything. And while they were setting the stage for the next thing, he went and he got the mic from the little production assistant girl on the corner, and he stood in front of everybody, kind of folded his arms, and he was just really relaxed, standing there and saying, I want you to understand that if you want things to change, you have to go and pick up the phone. Just pick up the effing phone, because that's what everybody else is doing. And they don't watch the Twitter feed. They don't count the Twitter feed. They don't count websites. They don't count blog posts. They don't count anything except phone calls. So if you want things to change, pick up the phone. And I thought, boy, what an interesting thing to do for a 16-year-old's birthday. That's what he wanted to see.
Yeah.
So
That's cool.
It was pretty cool. And he's adorable too, and just the sweetest thing in the world. So that was fun. And then I have a couple of things. But Erica, if you can turn your video on for just a little bit, I have to go fix something really quick.
Okay. All right. Well, so my video is on and I'm recording la 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 la.
Can you?
I'm going to pretend that I don't see happening in the chat room what I see happening in the chat room.
Yeah, that's what I'm working on.
We just shan't dignify with a response. So anyhow, I'm trying to think of things to say to fill the time. Holy cow, guys, we got a 50-inch TV the other day. And my husband and I watched part of the last YouTube recording, and he had some great input for me. But do you have any idea how weird it is to see your own face on this gigantic 50-inch TV screen? Let's just say it's the reason why I made sure I dried my hair and put makeup on today. Okay. So you guys can thank my 50-inch TV for that. No 51-year-old woman needs to see herself that large. Oh dear. And I think now my kid is going to go try to, yeah, Abby, that right there, it's live now. Click on that.
Oh no. Seriously?
That's right now. She is. Okay, so now we have this going on 3 devices. We've got the Hangout happening on my iPad, and oh, the picture's better on the TV than on my laptop. Imagine that on the 4K smart TV, it's better. See, and yeah, there's a little bit of a lag between the Google Hangouts and the YouTube.
Yeah.
But yes, I learned terms like 4K and smart TV, and it feels ginormous to me.
Yes.
But let me tell you, being in the TV department at Best Buy, it sure didn't look ginormous compared to all the other stuff.
All the other
there.
ones. Yeah.
And Andrew keeps telling me that when people find out what size TV we got, when I say we got a great big new TV, and they say what size, and I tell them 50-inch, the people are going to say, only 50 inches? But that is the largest that would fit in the space that we have. And for the moment, the other TV is going up in the attic. We're not really sure what we're going to do with it.
Yeah.
And oh well, I've just been corrected. It's actually in the staging area where we put things that are waiting to go up in the attic, and that staging area being Sarah's room. But since she's not here, we can do that with impunity. So there is an office chair in there and a package that are both hiding for my friend's husband's birthday. She can't have them in her house or he will know about them. And the TV and a couple of suitcases and the box from the new TV, and it's filling up fast. It's pretty hilarious.
Well, we have dealt with our chat room issue.
You did, yes. Now that you've dealt with that, back to you, Heather.
All right, because I have a gift from Nanette the nanny that she sent me, and
yay, Nanette.
She said anyone with boys and anyone who knits should probably have a shirt.
Yes, I've seen that.
Yep.
Okay, so you have to read it, and you have to read it in the right sing-songy kind of voice for the people at home.
All right. It is. I will knit on a boat. I will knit with a goat. I will knit in the train. I will knit in the rain. I will knit with a fox. I will knit in a box. I will knit with a mouse. I will knit in a house. I will knit here or there. I will knit everywhere. And it's so cute. And all of the pictures, I hope
Dr. Seuss plus knitting, yay.
Yeah, you can't go wrong. All of the pictures are done like they're in knitting stitches. So
oh, cool. I didn't realize that.
yeah, it is
probably advertised
really,
on Facebook occasionally.
That one's got much bigger stitches, so that's probably easier to see.
Oh yeah, I can see the stitches on my TV, not so much on my laptop.
Well, that was one thing that I wanted to show everybody. And then there's another thing, which I will have to try and hold steady again. This is my baby, who I took care of for a little while. And that is
yay, the baby.
His announcement picture. And he is just so precious. I love him so much. And I miss him. So. And then the last two things, these are, they're crafty because of the people who made them. They were made crafty, but I hadn't seen these before. Tara, especially, you may be looking for one of these. I have had lots of those metal tea strainers that are the clampy kind, where you pinch the clamp and it opens up the ball, and you kind of try and stuff tea in half of the circle and not have it spill out and get into your hot water and stuff. And I've had those before. A tea diffuser. Yep. Well, I found one that I can use. So here it is. And it has a snap together lid. And it has a very nicely sized chamber for the tea. So you can fit enough in without having it smudge over the edge and get into your tea. But the best part is for cleaning. It has a little plunger that actually pushes it out. And you can use it two different ways. If you have the lid closed and you push the plunger, you squeeze the last bits of the tea out, although that's kind of bitter and I usually don't do that. Or you can use it to clean it all out, which is very nice. And that I am going to link to from the show notes. It's called the Healthy Steps Total Tea Infuser. So, and it's like $5. I loved it.
Nice.
And then the thing that has rocked my world, I don't know if you've seen this before. I found out about it because, iPods used to come with the earbuds that never fit me or anyone else I've ever known. And then Apple said that they were going to put out these new ear pods that were going to be ever so much better. And they kind of had a like almost an egg shape to them. And, and I got them when I had to switch phones, and they didn't fit either. And I got so furious with it the other day. I went and looked up hacks online. It was earpod hacks is what I found. And I found an Instructable where you put this stuff around the ear pod, and then you wait 30 minutes, and then you stuff it in your ear and mold it just the same way that you would a hearing aid. You mold it to the inside of your ear and you let it dry for 24 hours, and it turns into silicone rubber. And it's also really good for putting around the part of the plug that is going to break, because it will get bent. And this stuff is incredible. And when Thing One saw it, he said, "Oh, well, that's got to be on Shark Tank." And
the part that will break?
Yeah.
See that? Constantly.
Oh, wait. No, I didn't have the picture on you. Hang on. Show me.
Oh.
Okay. Oh my gosh. Yes.
All of them do that.
Yep.
All of them. You should see the one in my car. It's horrible. For some reason, Andrews never do that, but mine do. I'm getting somebody's throwing shade from the peanut gallery.
I heard that.
Oh, they heard you, Abby.
Well, you will be thrilled about this stuff, because it was like, I don't know, $7.50 for 3 packs of this stuff. I didn't use a pack doing all of that, the ears and the base, but this stuff is Thing One thought it must have been on the Shark Tank, but it wasn't. It has, however, gotten very good reviews from Forbes, Time Magazine, The Independent, and Amazon. It has 4.5 stars. It says it's a 6-in-1 product. It will fix, bond, cushion, replace, create, and seal. It is called Sugru. I love that.
Fix that thing. I love it.
I know. It's fantastic. And literally, these are the instructions. You knead it, you shape it, you stick it, and then you let it dry. Done. And some of the things that they show people fixing, 2 of them I could have used a month ago, and things got thrown out because I didn't have it. Those trays on the refrigerator, the corners of which inevitably will crack when pulled by small teenage people.
Yes.
You just wrap this stuff around it and hold it for a little while, and then it sits just as long as nobody pulls on it for the first 24 hours, you're fine. Sticking pot lid handles back on because it can sustain temperatures, and then putting plastic pieces back together again, and other things. And so it turns into a relatively flexible. Can I show that? Yeah. Rubber. It doesn't feel soft. It doesn't feel like that kind of, I'm trying to think where it doesn't feel
it's
like.
Not squishy.
Yeah, and it's not that rubbery silicone that you sometimes get when it's clear. I'm trying to think of something that I've gotten recently.
Oh, the stuff that feels sticky, that always attracts dirt to it.
It always attracts. Yes,
5 minutes.
Exactly. This is not that. It does not get dusty. It does not get dirty. And I got it at Ace Hardware. The end. They also said putting it on legs of things to protect furniture and to stop doors from banging. It's just incredible. And it is ultimately removable if you need to remove it. I look at this as a sign of God on earth. That's it. Because how badly did I need this? So I am not telling anyone else in the family where I'm hiding it, because it'll all go bye-bye so fast. But that stuff, I just got so excited. I said, I have to show that to everyone. And I know, right? The light of heaven comes down.
God opened, the angels sang.
That's right. And that was it. My craftiness was completely relegated to hanging out with the kids. And the only other thing I did was, thing 2 was using my watercolor box the whole time we were there. And so when we were at the 9/11 memorial, I did my own version of the blue wall, which
yeah, you put the picture of that.
Yeah, if people didn't see that, I think I put it out on Instagram. It is, the 9/11 memorial is very well done, and you could spend a really long time there. But we were able to see the names of people we knew, and my principal's sister. And when they have a memorial room that's separated from everything else, and you can look on these touch screens and you can find the names of the people if you want to.
Oh, wow.
And it shows their story and several pictures of them on the touch screen. But then at the bottom in the corner, it said, this memorial will show in the memorial room, something, in 1 to 3 minutes. And I thought, I have no idea what that means. And then I could hear audio in a room behind us. So thing 2 and I went around the corner, and there was a dark room where you could sit down, and they had on the walls these memorials played, massive, huge. So everybody could see the person who you knew.
Oh, wow.
Which was really lovely. It was a nice way to use technology. And then there were several pieces that were just shocking and heartbreaking. And they had a map of where everybody was found. Everybody that they identified was found. And my theory was wrong. My theory had been that most of the emergency crew deaths that weren't firemen had happened outside on the plaza, because they were the first responders to the first tower, and then they got hit with the stuff when the second tower got hit. And I was incorrect. Almost all of the deaths were right around the towers themselves. There were very few that were out where I thought that they were, which is, it is what it is. But they had.
And visiting this didn't give you a flashback panic attack or
No,
anything?
it was strange. I had reactions at the weirdest places. And Thing Two was walking
Sure.
through with me, and he kept saying, "Are you okay?" And I kept saying, it's not upsetting, and it's not a panic attack. I've been away from this for long enough that I'm not feeling nervous. Or he got more panicky being underground than I was. But what it was is it took me a while to figure out how to explain it to him. And I said, on a day like that, when there is actual real physical danger and your body floods with adrenaline, I think it's really weird to talk about later, because on the one hand, like a car accident or anything that pumps all that adrenaline into your body, it is this heightened memory and very, very detailed memory because of all the adrenaline. But that's also because of what adrenaline does to you. That feels exciting, but not exciting in a positive way. But I don't know any other
Right.
word to use. And so it's very hard to explain the kind of tension of emotions that goes on. So, I mean, it was walking down the first ramp, you see the bathtub wall, which is the wall that they built originally for the first time they built the towers. The bathtub wall is this ginormous wall that keeps the Hudson River out. And it was talking about that when I started to cry, because that was my view from my classroom. I saw that last, the last pillar, it was like a tall rectangular pillar that all the guys had spray painted their unit numbers on as they dug down through the pile. That was my view. And so that's what got me. And as we went further in and saw the memorials, and we saw the things that kids had sent in, and this giant flag that was very much like, and the bombs burning in air kind of flag.
Right.
It had been the one that had been hanging on the side of some waffle cut section of the towers that lasted for a while on the ground. And then it had gone around the country because it got ruined. And so people all over the country, like Oklahoma City, put patches on it. And the patches usually had some kind of meaning. The fabric came from somewhere. But then they sent it to Fort Sumter, and they used thread from the flag that was the Star-Spangled Banner.
Oh my goodness.
So someone went in and teased out thread from the original and then stitched a patch onto the 9/11 flag.
That's crazy.
Right? And I thought, on a crafty side of things, that's pretty cool. And there were quilts, which I put up on the Instagram feed, beautiful quilts. And those weren't the only ones. They were just the first that I saw. And yeah, I think stimulated is probably as accurate as anything. But the thing that hit me that I wasn't expecting, I knew most of the stuff. I knew that there was going to be a fire truck, that the front of it was just sheared off and was nothing but cable that was left. And I knew that there were police cars that had been destroyed. And I knew that there were shoes. And I knew that several of the people, more than several of the people who are in those really iconic photographs of people responding to seeing the tower get hit, and then seeing the towers come down, those people had been identified, and like some of their clothes were there, and it's recognizable in the photograph, and that's always kind of eerie. And there was,
makes it more real.
Yeah, totally. Because it really does start to feel like it was a Jerry Bruckheimer movie that you saw. And but there were two things that got to me, and the first one, I did not stick around. Once I figured out what I was looking at, I didn't stick around with Thing Two. I took him out of there, which was a little room off the side. They had several of these little memorial video rooms or audio rooms off to the side, about the people who had to jump. Which
oh my goodness.
All I had heard back then was that nobody knew who they were, which was so not true. They were filmed closely enough that they were really identifiable to their families.
Oh my goodness.
So they had a memorial kind of a memorial room set aside for them. And it was the one thing I heard, which kind of made me feel better, was the same thing that I had said to my students, because they asked, why would you do that? And I said, well, I imagine if you were facing burning or flying, knowing that you're probably going to pass out before you hit the ground, I would want to be in control of what was going to happen to me. And if nobody could rescue me, then damn it, I'm not going to let somebody else decide. It's the last thing I can do that's going to determine my fate, and I'm going to take it. And I got that. That made a lot of sense. And
well, yeah, I can see taking, if I jump, I'll probably die, over if I stay here, I'm for sure going to die.
Absolutely.
And it's going to be slow and painful and horrible.
Exactly.
I can see that.
Yeah. And I think, you had two choices at that point. And
rock and a hard place.
Yeah. Really the ultimate rock and a hard place. So that kind of surprised me. And the other thing that I really did have a visceral reaction where my eyes went over it, and then I started shuddering, and breathing shuddering, and I didn't realize what was happening until I turned back around. It was my principal's walkie-talkie.
Whoa.
Yeah. Which, we saw every day in her hands. And it was, damaged, and the antenna had been bent, and it was Ada's story about us being a polling place on that morning, and she was outside greeting people to come into the polling place, partially because she was keeping an eye on who was coming in, because she wanted to make sure that we were safe, and partly just because that's how she was. And she saw the first plane go in, and she knew her sister was dead. And she really literally just went, Wendy is dead, and I'm going to get the kids out. And she went next door and talked to the American Stock Exchange security guy and said, are you evacuating? And he said, no, it's safer inside right now. And she said, all right, call me, because when you go, we go. And that's what happened. We did not do what the superintendent told us to do, which was to stay put, because it was only a commuter Cessna. Why were we so hysterical?
Which of course it was not.
Yeah. No, their office was in a basement, and our school secretary said, are you watching the news? Do you have any idea?
Yes, it's not a Cessna. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you guys were close to see it. Yeah.
Yeah, the boys freaked out when they saw how close the school was finally, because they've heard me say it, but it's different when you're walking it and you go, oh, how did your building not get hit?
Yeah.
They did a good job building the building, and they had a nice display on how the architecture worked and why, when you pour jet fuel down the middle of a tower like that, the whole thing's gonna not exactly implode, but the structural stability of the inside is going to go first, and once you lose that, nothing else could stand up. And it was very well done. They did a really, really good job. If you're ever in New York, it is well worth seeing, if only because it did a great job of letting you see the big picture, as well as these individual, very, like my principal's walkie-talkie, these very personal stories. And I thought they did a really nice job balancing the two. Plus all the artistic responses, the responses from children, and the new memorial, because there's 3 towers that they've built. The Freedom Tower, I hate that name. So the new memorial is three towers. Each one is a little bit smaller than the first, and so they're tall rectangles. And then in between the first and the second, and the second and the third, there are 2 same-sized rectangles in a lighter color underneath, because they're not there anymore. But it's like a ghost image of them under, like the Downton Abbey image, the upstairs downstairs, how it had kind of the downstairs was the same thing but reversed and ghostly.
Okay.
it was beautiful. And I just looked at it and went, wow, that's why I'm not a graphic artist. I would never have come up with that, but it's really good. They did a very nice job. So it was a good thing to see. It was the right time. Boys were old enough.
Good.
And now I don't have to go back again.
If we ever take the kids to New York, we'll probably go, because they were young enough at the time. Oh, I mean, Abby was a baby and
Yeah.
Sarah was 3, or almost 3. They were clueless. So
Yep.
it would be really educational for them to do it.
They also had some of the images on the news, which Andrew remembered seeing, and of course I didn't, but he was watching the whole thing on the news, and he thinks it was Tom Brokaw, but he's not sure, where it was the anchorman's voice, but the video feed was live, and it was just the burning North Tower, and whoever it was, Brokaw or somebody else, was saying, Will, we're waiting for confirmation. We think that this was an American Airlines jet, and he just kept talking. And while he was talking, the second plane went in, and he didn't see it right away. So Andrew's sitting there going, "Oh," because that one came over my school. The engine of that one landed on the top of our building, and he knew how close we were at that point, and it took the commentator a couple good long seconds of 10 or 15 before he saw the feed and went, "Oh my God."
Wow.
And they had the Today Show, Matt Lauer and Katie Crook going, we have to switch. There's been an accident down at the World Trade Center. And they switched to the feed. And it's those first images, I've said, the first images that we got in the classroom on the computer. I put up CNN.com. It was just a hole. There was no fire. And we fix holes. And we put out fires, for God's sake. I mean, really, there are sprinkler systems. And so I convinced the kids that we were fine because it's just a hole. And we, of course, could see what was actually happening outside, but I was trying to calm them down at the time. So, did I lie to my students? Probably.
Yes, you did.
Yes, I did. But they didn't get hysterical. They were amazing. Everybody got out.
Yeah, great.
Good
Well, that's
kids.
when you pull out the "it's going to be okay."
Yes,
Right.
which is where we went when we started
Going to
evacuating.
be.
Yep. And I took my attendance book and I told him I was going to take roll when we got to Battery Park. And one of the kids said, "You are not." And I held it up and I said, "Yes, I am, because I'm responsible for you. So you're sticking with me. Tough."
Yeah, absolutely.
And they did. They were good kids.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh my
Well,
God, Tara, you're
very
so young. 7th grade.
Oh,
You wouldn't
I
have even
know.
been in my class. Oh my gosh. That's
I had
hilarious.
no idea Tara was that young.
I know. She seems ageless. She's just in control.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I can't. There were lots of teachers who did that, who made young kids watch, and other teachers who made people turn it off because it got hairy pretty fast. But yeah, I know there were plenty that did. I think that's it though. I think that was my only craftiness, aside from managing to cook in 7,000 degree heat with 95% humidity.
Oh, it went up to 95 from 94.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
It was only 94 when you started.
I know. Now it's definitely 95 because I'm still sweating. Oh, and if any of you are interested, go look at the Twitter feed for hashtag PCA16, Podcast Award 16. There's been a bit of a kerfuffle, and I don't know what the end result is going to be, but last I checked, the end result is that CraftLit didn't win, but the possible result is we may find out if we would have, if some guys didn't do what they did, which is, I think what they did was ethically questionable, but it didn't break the rules. So it's fair game.
Some ballot box stuffing, huh?
It was a little, not necessarily ballot box stuffing, but aiding people in voting for a particular slate of podcasts. And they won 17 out of 18 categories. Their slate won 17 out of 18 categories. So obviously they're very effective. But they have half as many people as we have in our Ravelry group on their group.
Okay.
So it's been interesting to watch the kerfuffle. So Twitter, the hashtag is PCA16, Podcast Awards 16. And we'll see. I don't know what's going to happen, but I've already recorded the episode for this week, so. And that's pretty much it. Well, it was good to see you. Gosh, and it was good to see everybody in the chat room. It's so nice to be back. And link, Robin, which link do you need?
I think she means the PCA thing.
Oh, for the podcast awards? And
can you put links in the chat room? I've tried. It won't. Yeah, see, it won't let me put actual links.
Yeah, I don't think it'll let them be live, but you can put them there, but I don't think they're clickable. You just have to copy them and paste them.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Meh.
Cool.
Meh. All right. Well, thanks everybody for coming and visiting.
Yes.
And seeing all the beautiful crafty things that Erica made. I love that exsanguinated colorway.
Thank you. I do too.
Can you take a close-up of where the color change happens from the dark burgundy, the dark blood red, to the more variegated?
Yeah, I think I have a picture of that. I think I posted it on the Ravelry page for this project. But
good.
I'll check, and if I didn't, I will.
Okay, that'd be perfect. I can pull it from there. Yay! Thank you.
Well, Abby is happy that we went this long in recording, because that means she gets a ride to her class today instead of having to take the bus.
Alrighty
so
then.
My little 10th grade scholar taking Intro to Sociology at the local community college.
Rock on, Abby.
I know. Cross your fingers for her. She's got a test today. So. All right, my dear.
All right. I'll talk to you soon.
Break your arms, but
my yoga. It's the only yoga I do.
But
that's my only yoga that I can do right there, because downward effing dog might kill me.
We'll come up with a name for it.
There we go.
Upward pod.
Alrighty. Bye. Bye, everybody.